Dear students, hello, how are you? Greetings to all students. Please report your attendance and we will begin right away. Dear students, please report your attendance. Okay, thank you. Now we'll begin from where we left off in the last class. Dear students, I'm just going to write the topics. First of all, you know that we have completed the living world. The living world. Biological classification. Biological classification. Then we have the rest of the topics that we have covered up till now. Plant kingdom. Okay. Morphology of flowering plants. Morphology of flowering plants. Anatomy of flowering plants. Anatomy of flowering plants. Okay. So the living world, biological classification, plant kingdom, morphology, anatomy. So basically these are the parts that we have done up till now. So students, the living world, do you have all the notes, the questions, assignments? Do you have living world? I believe you must have the notes. The PPT, I do not think there was much requirement of a PPT in this regard because the chapter is very short. So assignment and questions are also not required as such. Notes I have already given. Biological classification, you have the notes. I think you also have the PPTs. And you also have the assignment, the questions that you have, right? Okay. For plant kingdom, I have given you the notes. PPTs also I have given to you. And do you need more questions regarding assignments and practice questions? You need for that, right? So let me know whatever chapters that you are facing difficulty in. Notes, PPTs for this also. I think I have given it to you. For flower, I have given it to you. For the morphological parts that are besides that, I have also given that for you. Assignments, I will give it to you. This needs to be given. Assignment for this needs to be given. So regarding the anatomy of flowering plants, anatomy and morphology, you haven't got the notes for that. Okay. Yeah, basically the notes for anatomy and morphology, basically I had like notes, what I mean by notes is I have given you the notes in the class. I mean my video lecture, you must have it. Yeah, I haven't prepared notes as such for it. PPTs, I can give it to you. Okay. I can give you the PPTs for morphology. Basically, it will serve as a sort of notes because, yeah, the notes are very extensive. So you can take it for that. Okay. Anatomy of flowering plants, you have, I believe the chapter has almost been finished. Give me a second. Yeah, okay. So in the last class, we almost finished the chapter, the class for anatomy. Okay, it's almost done. And the PPTs for anatomy of flowering plants you will get. PPT is remaining, assignment is remaining. This remains. Okay. So up till now, please tell me, which chapter do you think, do you find the most difficult one? Do you find anatomy more difficult? Do you find morphology more difficult? Or plant kingdom? Yeah, you can give me an order of preference, like you find anatomy more difficult or morphology more difficult? Okay. All right. Shillong students, just let me know. Yeah, because the year is almost over, I am concerned for your exams. So after this, the unit for cell division will start. After that, plant physiology will start. So 2 units are remaining. We have completed basically 2 large units. Yeah. Yeah, and I know because I have very less classes on this regard. Acha, okay. Morphology, okay, yeah, right. Yeah, morphology was still done. Okay, you meant by that. Okay, yeah, sure. All right. Yeah, okay, all right. So, never mind. Yeah, we will complete morphology. No problem with that. Okay, so yeah. Morphology, yes, we will complete then in that regard. All right. So in morphology, in the last class, let me give me a second. In morphology, in the last class, we had completed up till root. Stem was almost completed, right? And we have to complete okay, so class 11th you have to okay, yeah, morphology of angiosperms. Yeah, I know that these notes you have not been given up till now. Yeah, okay. So you will get these notes. Okay, you will get these notes when I finish this chapter. Okay. So in the last class we had completed up till leaf part. And now we need to continue for the after leaf we need to move on to the next part, which is basically talking about inflorescence, flower, that we need to complete. Okay, so yeah, we will complete this. Notes we will complete in the next following class. Okay. All right. Okay. So root, stem, leaf we will complete. We have completed. Now we will continue up till the next part. Okay. So please tell me what is the because you are just coming after the holidays. So let me give you a very quick revision, okay, for the whole chapter, because I don't think you will be remembering so much after the classes. Yeah, it's a long holidays session, and I hope you had a welcoming and fulfilling new year, and I hope you had very nice holidays as such also. All right, so let's continue with the morphology part. When I talk about morphology, I refer to the external appearance, whatever is externally visible for me from the outside. Okay. So when I talk about externally visible features, I am talking about the underground part, which is the root, the overground part, which is the stem, the leaf, the flower, the inflorescence. All these organs basically conclude in the morphology. So when we talk about root is basically mainly of 2 types. Either it is fibrous or it is tuberous root or radical root. The third type of root is the adventitious root. Tap root is the type of root which is developing from the radicle. It is the characteristic feature of dicot plants. It is long, thin, cylindrical root tapering to the bottom, formed only once in the life cycle of the plant. Fibrous root system. These roots originate from the base of the plant. It is a characteristic feature of monocot plants. And in monocot plants, you already know the radicle is short-lived. So basically, the cells around the radicle, from that very same point, they will form the basis of the fibrous root system. When I talk about the functions of the root, so basically function of the root is providing proper anchorage, storing reserve food, synthesis of plant growth regulators, cytokinin I mean. Regions of the root, region of maturation, region of elongation, the root cap zone, root meristem zone. So basically 4 zones are there. So you know all these. Root cap zone is basically thimble shaped structure. It protects the root from the friction, from the damage against the soil particles. And then there is a single root cap per plant. However, multiple root caps are found in pandanus, basically that is screw pine. Root apical meristem, you already know, very active cell division. They form new cells. These cells go into the zone of elongation. After the zone of elongation, they will go into the zone of maturation, form the root hair. Okay, so region of elongation is responsible for the maximum growth in length of the root. Then maturation zone, root hair region, basically undergoes cell differentiation, cell maturation. Epidermal cells form very fine thread-like structures called the root hair. Root hair absorb the water and minerals from the soil. And modifications of the root are for support, for breathing, for storage. For support, I told you that these are these prop roots. Basically, in the banyan tree, they will form a huge network, and these roots will go into the ground and will support the large branches, because the large branches weight will be very large. Okay, so if the large branch goes very long, it will break down. So what will these do? They will grow down like, suppose a stem is growing, but they are going downwards. So basically it is root. Stem grows upwards. Stem does not grow down. So basically it is the root. After establishing its connection with the soil, the middle part, they will function as a secondary stem. This middle part from the branch to the root, it will function as a sort of a stem-like structure, and it will support the main branch, main trunk. So basically it is both stem and root. So Ficus bengalensis, the ficus tree, banyan tree, is there. For breathing, you know, pneumatophore is a very important question in your board exams, in your school exams. So basically you can see these are underwater structures, and from underwater they are coming above the water for breathing only. For storage, I told you carrot, turnip, radish, napiform, conical, fusiform roots. Then there is modified storage, Ipomia batata, adventitious root. Okay, so all this is about root only. Now root is finished, moving on to stem. So this is a very quick revision. Stem is positively phototropic, growing above. Modification of stem is rhizome, bulb, corm, tuber. Okay, so ginger, onion, garlic, colocasia, potato, runner, sucker, stolon, offset. All these are subaerial modifications. Aerial modification, tendril, thorn, cladode, phylloclad, bulbil. Okay. Underground modifications, you already know ginger, turmeric. Okay, so basically this has been discussed. Condensed disc-like stem, bulb. Corm is an underground storage structure. Alright, so it is found in colocasia. So this has also been done. Tuber is most important. Tuber is basically asked in your exams also, that question can be asked in 2 ways. Either they will ask what is tuber. So tuber is basically underground, anterior, swollen part of stem. The stem grows like this. It gets swollen at the tip of the stem, and this part grows in size with the storage of the food material. And it has some eye-like structures called the eyes of the potato. Basically, these are potato eyes or potato buds, and they are covered with scaly leaves. And each eye represents a node bearing to one or more buds having a leaf scar or scaly leaves. Solanum tuberosum, potato is the example. Subaerial modification of stem. Stem is partly aerial, partly underground. Then there is the runner. Runner sucker. Difference has been asked. So runner basically arises from the axillary bud, and it can spread in all the directions. So basically you can imagine from one point, if you watch Stranger Things, many horror series also, basically they have this alien-like structure. Basically in all horror movies, suppose an alien spore comes in, from one point, it will start spreading in all the possible directions. So runner is something like this only. It will start from one point, go from this point to all the possible points. So basically it's spreading in all directions. Sucker is basically underground part. It grows horizontally. Normally it can be in one or two directions only, but it spreads less than runner. Okay, and normally it is confined to a small space from the mother plant. So if banana is growing, you can see the sucker is not going to grow in all the multiple directions fast. Okay, it won't be so fast. If a mother plant is there, the daughter plants will be located in a small area around the mother plant. This is the sucker definition. Stolon is a creeping horizontal plant stem or runner, which is taking root at the points along the length to form new plants. Runner versus stolon difference. Runner is a basically horizontally running structure. Stolon is basically a creeping structure. Offset is one internode long modification of stem and bears a new plant at each internode. Grows rapidly through vegetative propagation and may soon cover the whole surface of water body. Okay, so this is basically found in, I told you, it is found in, one second, water hyacinth. I think I forgot to tell you this. Eichhornia crassipes. Terror of Bengal. I told you this is very common. It's a common weed plant, weed-like structure. Aerial modifications. Tendril, thorn, cladode or phylloclad or bulbil. Okay. Tendril is a modification of stem to provide support to the plant. Tendril may be formed from apical bud, axillary bud, leaf, etc. Okay. So tendrils have been covered. After that, thorn is a pointed structure. So basically, thorn example was also given. So this is just for the revision part. Phylloclad is very, very important. If you are seeing the past year question papers, I saw the past year question papers of your board exams. For Shillong I saw, for Manipur I saw, for Arunachal Pradesh I saw. So in the past year question papers for class 11, it is very common to ask questions related to phylloclad. What is phylloclad? In past year paper, I think in 2015 there was a question from the past year question paper of your students from your state boards and your school question papers. What is the type of modification found in Opuntia? So in Opuntia, phylloclad is found, and phylloclad is found in Opuntia. Basically, a very silly type of question, straightforward question has been asked. So basically, this is a green colored structure. Stem becomes photosynthetic. Leaf is reduced to spine-like structure. So leaf is modified into spine and stem is modified into phylloclad. This is a stem modification. Okay, and it is a flattened branch or stem joint resembling and functioning as a leaf. Cladode is a flattened leaf-like stem. It is also photosynthetic stem and considered as modified branch, which is flattened and functions as a leaf. Cladode of asparagus, ruscus, etc. Bulbil. Bulbils have been asked in your board exams, in your school exams, sorry. I keep confusing schools with boards. The thing is, bulbil is a vegetative reproductive structure. So basically, those plants which undergo flowering at very, very late stage. Agave americana. So Agave americana once in 100 years. Flowers will come in 100 years. So you guys imagine how much time that is. Other species of agave, 40 years, 20 years, 50 years, like this. So nobody is going to wait so long for agave's flowers to come and then they will plant that. So basically it is very difficult. So agave undergoes vegetative reproduction by a swollen structure modification called bulbil. After that we discuss leaf. I told you about the difference between simple and compound leaf. So simple leaf is mango leaf. There is simple leaf. And how do you identify a leaf? A leaf has a leaf base at the bottom. So in this diagram, you can see this is the leaf base. This is the leaf base. This is the petiole. And this whole part is the lamina of the leaf. Whole part is the lamina of the leaf. Whole part is the lamina of the leaf. Compound leaf can be of two main categories. Palmate or pinnate. Palmate or pinnate. So palmate leaf radiates from all sides, and in what is the difference in palmate and pinnate? Pinnate, it will be present on the main leaf axis. So this has been a very long chapter, I understand, but it is necessary to give you a revision how much things are possible in this chapter. Reticulate and parallel venation, you know that network of leaves, network of veins, reticulate, parallel veins, parallel venation. So parts of leaf, leaf base, petiole, lamina. I discussed this with you. I told you that the best leaf to observe these three structures, you can basically take a peepal leaf. Okay. So the notes you will get. Okay, I am about to finish this chapter, and after that we can discuss the notes. Now let us start. It's been a long gap since we have had our last class. So after this, we can now continue with the leaf modifications. Leaf modifications. This is where we will start today. So revision is quite tough because there are too many things, and this chapter is going to be very, very important for you because there are too many things to remember. If you just study them once properly, it will be easier. But this chapter is the favorite chapter for asking questions because there is too much details in this chapter. So basically examiners know that they will ask anything from this chapter, so the students will have some difficulty. So easy questions are also coming from this chapter, some difficult questions are also framed from this chapter. By difficult I mean some detailed question like long answer questions are very easy to frame from this. Okay. So tell me, What leaf modifications have we already studied? We have studied spine. Spine is a leaf modification for reducing the photosynthesis. Okay. Then there is another modification called tendril. Tendril we have studied in stem, not in leaf, but leaf is also sometimes modified into tendril-like structures. So, do you want a PPT for yourself so that you can understand this? Because I guess it will be easier for you to understand if you study this with the help of a PPT. Give me a second. I made a PPT for all of you so that you can understand. Okay, give me a second. Yeah, give me a second. I'll just load it up because there are too many details here, and it will be easier for you to understand with the help of a PPT. So I'll just play a PPT for you, and then you can comparatively easily do it. Give me a second. So we are going to now basically we need to morphology is the okay. All right, this is done. Okay. So now we will yeah, I have this, found that. Now you can understand this. It contains a complete set of I made it from the beginning to the end. So let us see this. It's quite detailed in my opinion. So yeah, I can think that you will be better be able to understand with the help of this. Root systems. So taproot, fibrous root, adventitious root. Okay, so taproot, fibrous root you already know. Okay, adventitious root is also given here. So this is what we have done today. Okay, root modifications, climbing roots, buttress roots, pneumatophores. Okay, and more modifications of root. So yeah, it contains everything. A lot of images are here, and this is the actual picture of a root. I have just grown it in a soilless environment. So if I grow it in a soilless environment, my root hair will look like this. Okay, so this is how it's been carefully isolated so that root hair are preserved. If you take a root from the soil, root hair will be destroyed. Otherwise, it will look like this. So it's a very beautiful picture. This is an actual seed germinating. You can see the root hair here. Okay, so it's very easy to understand from this presentation. I'll give it to you. I'll just give it to you on your groups. Okay. Stem you have done. Okay, so stem is considering this part is the stem, and basically stem is basically for supporting flowers and all that. Okay, so opuntia, yeah, opuntia we were just talking about. So this is opuntia, everybody knows it. So basically we are talking about the cactus. So this is the leaf modification that everybody knows about. Okay. All right. Now on this stem there are a lot of buds here. These buds will develop into branches, okay, and this branch will bear the leaf. Now, this is the transverse section of a apical meristem, okay. And I'm just going to scroll this up. Please take a look quickly. Okay. So storage stems, asparagus. Asparagus is seen very less in India, but it's very common in Delhi. I find asparagus in the supermarkets here. It has to be grown specially. Asparagus is not a native of India. It's not an Indian native. Potatoes, these are different types of potatoes. Various shapes of potato, not just one shape. You can see. Okay. Bulb is there. So basically this PPT is quite complete in itself. It will help you in understanding all those things that you want to see. Scaly bulb is basically lilium. Okay. Then there is a rhizome. So rhizome is horizontal. So all this rhizome and everything, it's been discussed here. Okay. This is strawberry. Strawberry, I was telling you about that strawberry always grows at an angle. It curves upwards. It does not go down in the soil. Stolon and runner. Basic difference is stolon does not touch the soil. Runner runs parallel to the soil. Cladophil, thorn, tendril. Now we can continue with the leaf. So leaf continuing leaf. Leaf is consisting of blade and petiole or a stalk. Okay. Simple leaf is which is undissected leaf. The incisions do not touch the margin. Compound leaf. When I talk about compound leaf, basically it has this type of arrangement. Double compound leaf, basically further dissection is there. Monocot and dicot leaf, you already know this. I've just shown this to you. Now these are leaf modifications that we are studying here. Tendril. Tendril is basically a coiled structure which is having the ability to coil around a support. Spine is a very reduced structure. Basically, it does not serve for photosynthesis. Okay. Storage leaves. Basically, succulent plants have these storage leaves. Okay. And bracts. When you talk about the bracts, bracts are basically colored leaf or basically protective leaves. Okay. And in some plants, the bracts are very brightly colored. Okay. Reproductive leaves, you already know, Kalanchoe, Sudarshan, Bryophyllum. These have some reproductive structures. Now let us discuss the leaf in detail. Leaf contains the lamina, stalk, stipule or petiole. Okay. So I'm sending this PPT to you right on your groups. Okay. So class 11 group, you will get this PPT right now. Give me a second. Yeah, okay. So I'm sending this. This is a large PPT. And class 11th, Itanagar, Sisipur. Yeah, I think I am added in only 2 groups. So Sisipur and Itanagar I am also only added. So Shillong, if you are there, I don't think. Yeah, Shillong 11th I am not added, but I have sent this PPT in your Itanagar and Sisipur group. Okay. So ask your coordinators to add me to that group. If you do not receive it, I have just sent it to you on your WhatsApp. Okay. Phyllotaxy is the arrangement of leaves on the stem. So basically there are many types of arrangements. Either the leaves can be opposite. Opposite means one leaf is like this, other leaf is arranged opposite to it. Alternate means one leaf is here, other leaf is here, like this. Whorled means all the leaves are arranged at one point. After some point upwards, they will again form another whorl. So basically this is one on top of the other. So opposite leaf is found in which plant? Milkweed plant, guava. Alternate opposite is found in hibiscus, sorry, not hibiscus. Alternate is opposite leaf is found in guava. And then you can find it besides guava, you can find it in many other plants like members of Asclepiadaceae, but that's a difficult name to remember. So can you just remember some milkweed plants? You can later do it. Just I try to remember at least guava. Alternate example is hibiscus. Whorled example is Alstonia. It is also given you in NCERT, don't worry about it. Okay. This I have already told you. So there is you can study it in great detail in the PPT. These are different types of leaf. Palmately leaf. Everybody knows cannabis, the weed plant. How many people know the cannabis plant or the weed plant? Everybody knows it. So can you recognize this leaf? Yes? Okay. I guess everybody does. Yeah. So there is no need to emphasize on it. Yeah, okay, of course. So you can see that it's a compound leaf and it's a palmately compound leaf. Above one is the pinnately compound leaf, right? So there are many types of peltate, perfoliate leaves. So basically it is very less important, not asked in schools basically. School board, you will not get this question about this. You will get only peltate and perfoliate. This is only good for NEET exams, not for your board exams. Okay. So venation, internal anatomy. Anatomy we'll discuss in great detail later, but this is just to give you an example how the leaf, if you cut a cross section through it, it will look like. So basically these are transverse section of the leaf. I am cutting the leaf by the thin part. So this leaf is a very thin section. So it looks like this. Any leaf will show almost similar pattern. Now we will do this in detail. Cotyledons are also called the seed leaves. Very less important. Tendril is important. Tendril you can see in garden pea. Tendrils are found in many forms. Basically, stem can be converted into tendril, leaf can be converted into tendril, and in pea plant, leaflets are condensed into tendrils. Upper leaflets converted into tendril. Give me a second. Leaf converted into needle and spine. Okay. So this is basically the Opuntia plant. This is a pinus needle. You already know about it. Okay. Colorful bract, you know that is bougainvillea. Okay. All right. Now we can move on to flower. Okay. After leaf, we will move on to flower. Now, flower can be called perfect or imperfect, whether it has all the parts or it has some parts missing. Staminate flower, in which only male part is present. Incomplete flower, any part missing, you call it incomplete flower. This is an imperfect male flower. Only stamens, no carpel. Female flower contains only the female part, and maybe it contains calyx or corolla. That is different thing. And those flowers which have either those plants which have both the male flowers and the female flowers, that is called a monoecious plant. Same plant must contain the male and female parts, either on the same flower or on the different branches. Now, dioecious plants are different. Those plants which have separate male plants, separate female plants. Male plants will bear male flowers only. Female plants will bear female flowers only. They are called dioecious plants. These terms are important. This is asked in your exams. What is monoecious? What is dioecious? These terms are worthy of mentioning. So whatever I am underlining, please at least keep in mind that they are important for your board exam. So whatever I will underline, I think you will find it important. So keep on underlining it or writing it. Now, a very important long answer question which is definitely going to come in your board exams. This part is called insertion of floral parts. This part has been asked countless times in your board exams in every state, in every part of India. Okay, so you can call it, because I can not imagine any exam in which this type of question is not asked. So basically, they ask is, even in school Viva examinations, like in biology practicals, teachers ask this favorite question that do you understand this basic thing? When do you call a flower as when do you call a flower that is superior ovary? When do you call it having a superior ovary? And when do you describe the plant as having an inferior ovary or a half inferior, half superior ovary? Or they can just forget about the part ovary, and they can call a flower as superior, inferior, or half superior, half inferior. And they will ask you, what is the funda behind all this? So the funda behind all this is the insertion of floral parts. Okay. So yeah, this is diagram is very small, I understand. So let's move on to the much clearer, sharper image in the next part. Please pay attention here. Insertion of floral parts. This is the first thing we need to study here. Hypogynous. Hypogynous. Hypogynous means sepal, petal and stamens are inserted under the carpel. Okay. See the diagram carefully. Okay. When do you describe a flower as having superior ovary, inferior ovary? This is a very important part. The topic is called insertion of floral parts, and there are three conditions that can happen. This is the first condition that we are studying, superior condition or hypogynous condition. Okay. So the definition says that sepal, petal and stamen are inserted below the ovary or below the carpel. So I am adding one word here, carpel or ovary. Okay. So either I can say it's below the ovary or below the carpel. Okay. Alright. So let's write this down also. because this is an important part. Please put the heading. Insertion of floral parts. Insertion of floral parts on the, just write the, okay, keep it short. Now please try to understand the concept what I am trying to describe here. In any flower, can you always find that there is a central swollen green colored part here? Central swollen green colored part here, like this. This part is called the thalamus. We could take a rose flower for example. Now try to understand. A flower is having petals, a lot of important parts are present on the flower, male part and the female part. So if you are going to have some important part somewhere, anywhere in the flower, you must have a food supply. You must have a strong supply of resources. So if you have a strong supply of resources, first you need to establish a military base kind of thing, right? Because this is the helipad, this is the landing part where a honeybee or a bird or a bat or a crow or a snail, they will sit on this. So if it is very weak, when they start to sit on it, it will go down. So they will never visit this flower again. Do you understand this problem? So wherever the flower is going to grow, and suppose it has a pollinator, so the flower base needs to be very strong. Suppose it was, let's just assume this. Suppose a flower was to be pollinated by human beings, for a human fairy. Yeah, it seems funny, right? So in that case, in that alien world, that plant must be able to produce very large, strong base for humans to sit upon. Okay, if suppose it was there. But here, humans don't pollinate, insects pollinate. So basically, the plant must have a strong base on which everything can be kept properly. So this part, the basal swollen part of the flower, it is called the thalamus. The basal swollen part is called thalamus. Okay, you understand this? Now on top of this, calyx will be placed, corolla will be placed, all the other plants parts will be placed. But now try to understand this. Suppose this is the calyx, and then let me draw the corolla. This is the corolla. Okay, and then we can have androecium, gynoecium, all sorts of things. Suppose the androecium is attached with petals. I'm calling this androecium, actually it is a stamen. The unit of androecium is called the stamen. So this whole thing is a stamen. Actually the part that I have labeled is the filament part. Now actually this is normally green in color. I'm just drawing it with the blue color to be able to give you an idea. Now the basal part is normally very swollen. Basal part of this swollen part, it is called the ovary. The upper part is normally elongated. It is like this. Okay. So we have three parts: stigma, style, ovary. We have three parts. Okay. Now basal part is swollen. Now you can understand. Please pay a bit of attention to this thing. I'm going to just mark and pinpoint the position of insertion of all these four floral parts. Number 1, calyx. Number 2, corolla. Number 3, androecium. Number 4, gynoecium. So if I put numbers over here, 1, 2, actually 2 is here, 3, I can extend the 3 part down somewhere here also. Suppose here also, I can extend it downwards also. I'm trying to say everything is below ovary. Everything is below the ovary. Everything is below the ovary. You understand this? So when everything is below the ovary, now come back to the diagram here. When everything is below the ovary, the flower is said to be having superior ovary. Okay, you can understand that not only in humans, in plants also, females are very important. Okay, so everybody is a feminist here. Alright. So in flowers also, females part is the most important part. So based on its position, whether it is up or whether it is down, I can call it superior ovary or I can call it inferior ovary. Alright. So moving on, this is the opposite. The next slide I am going to show you, it is the opposite condition. I have left one slide in between, that is somewhere intermediate. This is the exact opposite condition. This is the inferior ovary. Why I am calling it inferior? Thalamus is growing upwards and it is enveloping the ovary. It is fully enveloping the ovary. Alright. And when it is fully enveloping the ovary, it is called epigynous condition. It is called epigynous condition. So take a look at it carefully. Okay. So now let me show you the diagram what is happening here. How ovary became epigynous or inferior. In this condition what happens is, thalamus grows upwards. Thalamus grows upwards. And when thalamus is going to grow upward, ovary remains down like this. This is a very crude diagram, but still it will be sufficient. Stigma, style, ovary. Now what about the other plant parts? This is the calyx, like this. Now this is the corolla. The next part is the androecium. This is the condition that is happening. So whenever thalamus grows upwards, it completely envelops the ovary. It basically protects the ovary. So when ovary goes down, the flower is said to be inferior. Inferior ovary or epigynous flower. Term is different. There we were calling superior ovary as hypogynous. If it is inferior ovary, inferior flower or inferior ovary, you call it epigynous. Above ovary. Epi means on, above. All right. So this is the inferior ovary epigynous condition. Now there is a condition which is intermediate these two conditions. Okay. Can you give me any examples of inferior ovary? Take the example of apples. Okay. A better example than apples is, because apple has somewhat, it's difficult to see that condition. A very, very good example is guava. In guava, the whole green part that you're seeing, you're basically eating the thalamus. You're basically eating the thalamus. The fruit that we are eating in guava, that is the thalamus and the ovary. The seeds are present in ovary plus the thalamus. And on top of the guava, you can see some black brown structure. That is the calyx. Do you now remember? Take a guava, pluck it from the tree, and what you see on the top, the brown structure, black structure, that is the calyx. If you take it out very carefully, you can see the androecium also there. Androecium has begun to degenerate, but you can still see it there. So it's very interesting to see it there. So if you take it out, you can see the corolla has been reduced, it has been dried up. Sir, brinjal has this type of insertion. You tell me. Very interesting, very good. You tell me. Brinjal has also this kind of insertion. Very good. Brinjal has same kind of insertion. Not even brinjal, not just brinjal. Cucurbitaceae family, cucumber, okay, cucurbits, all have this type of insertion. Very good. Yeah, same type of insertion is there. Okay, I'll teach you this when I'll teach you family. All right. Okay. After that we have floral symmetry. We must consider. Yeah, one more example has remained. The middle condition. perigynous or half inferior, half superior. There is a mistake here. It's half superior or half inferior. If you still want to say, then you can say it's superior, but it is not fully superior. It is half superior, half inferior. So here what is happening? It is somewhere in between. The thalamus is growing up, but when it is growing up, it does not fully cover the ovary from all sides, from the top. It grows upwards and stops there. So it forms a cup-shaped structure surrounding the ovary. And it forms a cup-shaped structure. This is called perigynous ovary. It is found in rose family. Example is rose. Okay, so you can find this in rose. Now we have to consider the floral symmetry. Okay, floral symmetry. There is two types of symmetry that we have to discuss. One is the actinomorphic symmetry, other is the zygomorphic symmetry. Students, have you received the PPT on your WhatsApp groups? Because I have sent it to Itanagar and CC-Pur. Shillong students, have you received the PowerPoint? Yeah. Have you received this PPT? I have just sent it. I sent it to you half an hour ago. Have you got it? Yes or no? If you haven't got it, that means I'm not in your group. So tell me, did you get it in your WhatsApp group? Yes. This PPT that I'm teaching you from. Have you got this PPT on your phone? Yes or no? Yeah, half an hour has passed, so by now you must have received it. Okay, you have not received it. So basically, if you have not received it, so yeah, I'll have to ask. Yeah, I can ask. I think your coordinators have not added to me to your class 11th group. I have to give you some questions also after this chapter has finished. So that can only happen. Alright, yeah, I'll ask the coordinators to ask. If you have your coordinators there today, ask me to add them to your group, okay? Yeah, so do that. Alright, let's continue. Insertion of floral parts is done. Now let us continue to the main part. We have a very important part that is going to come in your exams in some form or the other. Look, for your NEET exams, it is very, very important that I give you the full details. Okay? For the inflorescence part. Okay. So inflorescence, it is a very detailed topic, but for your board, you need to understand only the basic part, which is raceme. What is raceme? For your NEET examination, you will also need to understand what are the basically exceptions in raceme, modifications of raceme. That part becomes very, very important. Okay. So this diagram is a basic summary, which is going to be enough for your board exams. But for your NEET exams, you will have to study these definitions in detail. That what are the examples where it is present. Okay. So inflorescence, spike, raceme, all these are I'm going to discuss, but I don't have time so much right now. Okay. So I'll give it to you later. Yeah, in the next class, of course. All right. Now let us, in the remaining time that we have, let us consider simple inflorescence and the compound inflorescence. Okay. Simple inflorescence means flower is present at the tip of the stem. Okay. Please don't write this. This will be sufficient for now. In the next class, we are going to basically cover this and finish this chapter. So by then you will also have this PPT with you, so that will be easier for me and easier for you. So simple inflorescence in terminal inflorescence means one flower present at the tip of the stem, but not all flowers are present in this fashion. You know that compound inflorescence are very common. For example, in your board exams, once there was question asked, a very innocent looking question. Question was, why is sunflower not considered a flower? Why is sunflower, in your board exams, in your school exam, sorry, why is sunflower not considered a flower? Now this is a tricky part. It is not a single flower. I am using the word a. It is not a flower. It is many flowers, plural. It's not singular, it's plural. It's a group of flowers. It's a compound inflorescence. That is why we do not consider it as a single flower, but a group of flowers. Compound inflorescence also includes spike inflorescence. Then there is catkin inflorescence. Okay. Catkin is erect or pendant inflorescence. Okay. Raceme inflorescence. Okay. Now raceme I will have to discuss in great detail in the next class. Okay. Raceme is a kind of an inflorescence in which flowers have indefinite growth. Floral axis has indefinite growth. So with time it will continue to grow upwards, move upwards. Okay. It will continue to grow upwards. Alright. Umbel is an umbrella shaped structure, umbrella shaped inflorescence, in which all flowers have equal or unequal length of floral axis, but the thing is their combined appearance gives an umbrella shaped structure. Okay. And the only thing is, normally we consider that their flower stalk or pedicel is equal in length. So when the equal length is there and all the flowers are arising from the same point, naturally it will give a umbrella shaped appearance. So I'll discuss this in the next class also. Corymb is a very interesting thing. In this, lower flowers have longer stem, upper flowers have shorter stem. This means when you look from the top, it will give a table-like appearance, flat appearance. Because lower flowers have longer pedicel, upper flower have shorter pedicel. Panicle, you must have seen this in the jungle. So it's a very branched inflorescence and it's a compound raceme. And this has to be discussed in the next class. Okay. So this will take some time. Okay. Now I have sent this PPT to you, but you have not received it. So in the next class we will be discussing this in detail. Okay, don't worry about it. And you will get my notes also. As soon as I finish my chapter, I'll send you the notes in the PDF form and I'll send them in the WhatsApp. So basically don't worry about the notes so much. And we'll do this in the this pattern. Okay, so studying by the help of PPT, because of morphology is very confusing, and if I don't give you these pictures, don't give you these notes and PPT, I know it is a very boring part, but please try to bear with me, because this part is very important for your board exams. Okay, so don't get very much stressed out. Questions will be comparatively quite easy if you only understand the figure, the diagrams. Okay, so thank you, dear students. Thank you for your time. I'll see you in the next class, and I'll ask the coordinator or something. I'll send you these notes as soon as I'm added to your WhatsApp group. Okay, so if you ask your coordinators, they can add me to that group, or I'll do it myself. Okay, don't worry, I'll get on it. Okay, so thank you. Travel home safely. Have a good day. Good night.